Australian Survivor, Australia versus the World reached its conclusion, and we have a winner. It's time to figure out why Parvati won.
Winner of Australia versus the World, Parvati.
Parvati came into this season as a previous winner like a few of the other players. But while those players got picked off quickly, she managed to hang around and dodge being the target. Now, of course, Parvati was lucky that she came in with a solid duo, which was very helpful. However, as much as it benefited her, it should have turned into a negative if anyone had decided to split them, which is something that they should have done, quite frankly. But Parvati and Shonee joined up with two alliances just in their initial tribe, the Women's Alliance and the U.S. Alliance. And then when the merge hit, they added another alliance that took them to the end. I do think it helped that people knew if you had one on your side, you had them both. But again, the other players should have tried to split them up. We need to recognize that Parvati had some good luck in her game. Right at the start, she made the mistake of telling Rob how she knew David. She was trying to use it to forge a connection, but instead it gave him a juicy bit of information to use against her, or to try. She won the day, but the possible target was still there until David was quickly voted out, relieving her of that burden. Later, Parvati was lucky enough to find the key to the box, which gave her the Palesa idol. And then, when it seemed like she was on the bad end of the stick by being sent home from the auction, she got a jar of cookies at camp. Now, she should have immediately known to search the jar, but she didn't and got lucky it broke when she was burying it, because that's how she found the knowledge is power advantage. Even with those lucky breaks, in one case literally, Parvati still had to know how to make best use of what she had, and she did. I already mentioned the alliances she was in, and she maneuvered with those to try to get the best outcome for herself. She didn't always succeed, such as when she tried to keep Tony as a shield for herself, but knew it was time to stop pushing and pivot. It happened again with Kirby. Of course, the best use of her advantage was not using it. Twice. First, she bluffed Cass when Cass pulled out an idol. Then she used it with Luke, who of course also believed her bluff and was therefore worried she would take his idol. Luke believed he was getting one over on her when he suggested giving him half of the ripped-up advantage. At Final Tribal Council, he tried to make it sound like he controlled Parvati in this moment, but she turned it around and said she chose to do it as a trust exercise because she wanted to go to the end with them. And of course, her plan of going to Final Four with Luke and Janine was a good one. I don't know, though, what Luke and Janine were thinking in having the same idea. Did Janine really think she could out-talk anyone about her game in Final Tribal Council? No offense. Was Luke concentrating on getting to the Final Three rather than on winning once he did? Maybe they hoped she wouldn't win the Final Immunity Challenge and they'd try to get her out in fire-making? That seems like an incredible long shot since they know what Australian Survivor Final Challenges are like, and Parvati seems likely to win most of them. This challenge in particular was perfect for someone like her, who had less weight to hold up, less weight bearing down on the pegs, and she just has this type of endurance strength. Lisa was not wrong to ask, how do you get to a Final Three with a four-person alliance? And although it didn't sink in, maybe it's something that Luke and Janine should have thought about a little bit more. Throughout the game, Parvati worried about her threat level, as she should. But the other players should have as well. I truly don't understand what they were thinking. Some of it was obviously her playing into the whole trust and loyalty thing that Janine and Luke had going on. But some of it has to fall back on the two for failing to see what certainly seems obvious. It's not even like it was a close vote. She won in dominating fashion, 6-1-0. Parvati summarized the best parts of her game in Final Tribal Council, saying her plans all came through. She was on the right side of the votes because she always knew the plan or created the plan. She was already one of the biggest targets, and she outlasted some massive threats. Yet nobody ever wrote her name down. As Shonee said in her voting confessional,
I feel like you were in control basically the entire time.
And that is why Parvati won. Be sure to subscribe so you can get the rest of my mini WhyXLost videos for the finale, and separate short videos with my thoughts on some of the more interesting or funny points of the game, plus plenty of Big Brother 27 content and US Survivor videos coming soon.